Live with us. Harrison Fields is the principal deputy press secretary in the Trump White House. Harrison, thanks for being with us tonight here on the Hill. Let me bring you back to the big story that Kelly Meyer just reported, which is a big announcement with Boeing that some 150 planes, give or take, are going to be announced as part of a deal in Qatar here in the upcoming days. How does this fit, Harrison? And thank you for being with us tonight. How does this fit into the bigger picture of what the president is trying to do with the Middle East, and what might you say to those who wonder if this has anything to do with the Air Force One gift?
Well, there's nothing to do with that, and the president is a deal maker, and he wants to make sure that he's prioritizing economic prosperity and partnerships, not just in the United States, but with our allies across the globe. This is why we've seen over $8 trillion of investments pouring into the United States since the president took office. And this is why you're also seeing massive partnerships with the Middle East and American companies, because the president is a deal maker. These countries and these companies are trusting President Trump, his economic approach and his foreign policy approach in doing these type of deals. This is only possible because we have a deal maker in chief as president who prioritizes relationships and prioritizes the American worker.
Give me a window into the thinking, Harrison, of why it was Saudi Arabia and the Middle East right off the bat, because I could take you back to Reagan, and I don't know if you heard Mick and I talking here. I could take you back to Reagan, and 4 of the most recent presidents went to Canada. The others went to the UK and Mexico, but it was Trump in both the first and second terms who decided to start off in the Middle East and specifically Saudi Arabia. Why? Why there?
Because he's the boldest commander-in-chief we've ever had. He is a president that can do the easy thing. He can take the quick trip to London, but he's going directly into the Middle East and doing something that most presidents wouldn't dare to do, which is communicate with a region that has long been forgotten and many people just throw money and throw weapons at and just look the other way. The president wants to build stability in a region that has just been war-torn. And we need to strengthen our relationships with the Middle East, and this is exactly what the president is doing. You see the communications with Israel. He's making sure that we strengthen that partnership.
Why didn't he go to
Netanyahu
Israel?
Has been to the White House twice.
Why didn't he go to Israel? There have been some questions there.
Bibi has been to the White House twice. He's talking to Bibi often. We don't need to do a symbolic visit to Israel to show our support. The president is in lockstep with Bibi and the people of Israel. And he's going to Saudi Arabia because we have a lot of economic interest there. We have a lot of partnerships and deals to be made. And we want to make sure we're bringing prosperity to a region that, for the most part, has been, forgotten about. And more people are focused on nation building in this region than in bringing economic partnerships. So the president is doing a new thing, and I think it's going to transcend average thought.
I want to play a clip from you for you from the president earlier today about what's been going on in the stock markets and with the economy, and I want to get your reaction on the other side.
Oh, it's going to get a lot higher. In fact, I told people 5 weeks ago, this is a great time to buy. I got criticized for that. Now they don't criticize me anymore. People should have listened. But it's going to go a lot higher. You're going to see, we've never had anything like this happen. It's an explosion of investment and jobs, and great companies are coming in. Never seen anything like it.
All right, so the president was taking credit for the economy today when he was abroad, Harrison. But as you know, when there was the negative GDP print just a couple weeks ago, the president said it was Joe Biden's stock market. And when the following day, when J.D. Vance, the vice president, was asked about it, he said it's Joe Biden's economy. Fast forward now, is this the Biden economy or is this the Trump economy? What is the position from the White House?
So 2 things can be true. We can acknowledge that we inherited an economy that was not thriving, but we can also say that job creation is a direct indication of the president's policies. Lowering inflation is a direct result of the president's policies, the president's tariff policies, tax policy. So 2 things can be true. No one is saying that we inherited a good economy. This is why we won in such a resounding mandate, because the American people and the foundations of our economy were not strong. The president in 4 months has been able to turn this economy around, bring in historic investment, and we're on the cusp of a massive tax bill that is going to lower taxes for the American people.
Yeah, and we're going to get into that later in the show. But I just heard you say turn it around. So is it his? Is it fully his?
The president is the president of the United States, and he will always take ownership of what is going on in the United States of America, but he could also acknowledge that the economy, just like the border and just like the world, which is on fire, which was on fire under the Biden administration, we did not inherit a thriving country. You know that, your viewers know that, and we know that every single day at this White House. If we inherited an economy and a country that was thriving, the president probably would have never been elected. We inherited a country in disarray, and this president, this administration is working to turn it around.
All right. Thank you for watching. Subscribe below and download our NewsNation app right now on your phone, and you will get fact-based, unbiased news for all Americans.